It is now time for the eggs to hatch. The colorful red, white, and yellow striped coral snake hatches out of its soft egg with its 17 brothers and sisters. It's hungry for its first tasty meal.
Once we knew we were creating narrative nonfiction ebooks, it was time for students to start crafting their stories. A lot of our high-quality writing targets were things that were already familiar to students. We've been working on them all year, like using transition words or what we call power words.
If we're creating a list of synonyms, what do I mean by that?
Synonyms are something that means the same thing.
Okay, so something that means the same thing. Sergine?
Mouth-watering.
Mouth-watering.
Oh my God.
That mouth-watering pizza. Oh yeah.
Shaking.
That's kind of a movement word too, right? But it's the shaking. You can infer he's scared. Wow, look at all this word power we're building.
We worked from model texts, cataloging descriptive words that would help them create rich stories.
Is a hawk. Her wide wings extended. Extended. Yes.
Other targets were unique to writing narrative nonfiction, like including facts from all the scientific categories they researched, or discovering narrative techniques that the authors of our model texts used to make their stories exciting.
And that's our learning target. I can include a satisfying ending to my narrative nonfiction story. What I want us to do is look at our mentor text, Bullfrog at Magnolia Circle. And we're going to look at the beginning and ending. What is the similarity?
The white wooden house is mentioned 2 times at the beginning and the ending.
This type of ending is called a circular ending. Okay, so we know that in our ending, we want to end with the same setting.
I created a series of organizers to help students outline and draft their stories.
When I started working on my story, I used this planning page. On our planning page, we had to do our ideas in where, the start, events, problem, danger, what happens, and the ending. For the events, I wrote, she crawls in the grass searching for a shrew.
Each section of their story organizers had a different color and reminders of our learning targets.
This one's events. This one was habitat. This one was solution. This one was the ending. And this one was a problem and danger.
Students turned facts that they studied into elements of their stories.
This is the events paper. One of the facts I include was overlapping scales. In my story, I wrote, her long overlapping scales get ready to ambush prey that comes close.
When the stories reached their final drafts, we turned our attention to how we would read our stories in the recording studio.
And action.
Come on, you slowpoke, let's go.
If you were going to read out loud, you would have to have like a lab presentation list, and you would also have to keep a strong body to let it come out of you, and you can say it with expression.
The bright, shiny morning in May.
The sun is hot and bright.
In real life, the way we present ourselves and our work really matters. And unfortunately in schools, we often don't feel we have the time to allow kids to polish that, both their work and the way they present their thinking, to a point of real power and elegance. This classroom is a great example of a place where students were given the time and care to refine their writing, their scientific illustration, their oral presentation, their music, to create something of real quality and beauty.
4 big targets are pacing, voice, articulation, expression.
Speak with expression and change your tone of your voice throughout the story. Like when you had the exclamation points, you start to go out loud.
My feedback was for him on pacing. I gave him just right because it was appropriate, like pacing, because it was nice and smooth.
Students had the chance to self-evaluate by making recordings on our iPads.
The mongoose looks around after every step he makes.
I wanted every student to feel prepared and successful for our one day in the recording studio.
Suddenly, she feels the vibrations of a coyote.
Next, King Snake looks behind a log. It's a Virginia possum.
Cottonmouth slowly eats the bullfrog head first, then goes to a tree to digest. She finally gives birth to 12 live babies. Their keeled scales are light brown. Cottonmouth will leave her babies to defend themselves. But now, Cottonmouth is exhausted and finally goes to sleep in the spooky Florida Everglades.
I'm done.
Yeah, you're good, Xavier. Awesome.
Good job.